Hey Moon fam, welcome to Cozy Talks, where we grab a cup of tea and we dive into all things soulful, mystical, and real. I'm JoJo, and every week I deliver new insights here and on my blog, cozymoonchild.blog. Today's topic is, I'm gonna miss it. Let me just look. Today's topic is Waning Moon Serenity, a Sagittarius journey in letting go and forgiving. This post is all about letting go and how forgiving others allows you to find peace. It's been a journey that's been especially powerful for me as a Sag. In this video, we'll explore the wisdom of the waning moon, the practice of letting go, and how forgiving others and yourself can bring you real peace. These lessons have deeply shaped my growth, and I'm excited to share them with you. So let's get cozy and dive in. So, the waning moon teaches us it's a natural moment to reflect on what to release and that it's okay to let go of the weight that you've been carrying. Or, in my opinion, it's a reminder too that you are maybe carrying too much weight. It takes a moment for you to realize that you've been carrying all this weight or you've been carrying this significant moment, and when you start internalizing the moon cycles, you'll find that these moments come up. And when these moments come up for you, it's a time to release them. Now it's time. If you're thinking about something that happened a year ago or 5 years ago or 10 years ago, some people do have moments where they still feel an emotional attachment to it. For example, because I can't think of how to express it for some reason, I am doing this a little more off the top than a scripted version of what I want to talk about. So I might have a lot of ums and stuttering as I get used to talking on the camera and articulating myself, because I've always had a throat chakra block. And so I'm still working on it opening and being able to articulate how I feel, or what I'm thinking. So just bear with me. So, for example, I used to have this moment that was a cringy moment for me. I was real young and I celebrated 420, and it was like 420 was a whole holiday. We were smoking all day, and I was like 18 or 19, and I went to go get my nails done, and we were going to go to the mall and go shopping, and get outfits to go out that night. So it was like a whole thing, and I can remember the embarrassment. It was yesterday. But what happened was I had ended up not eating all day and was smoking the whole time. And when I finally got to the mall and went to go get something to eat in the food court, I literally was about to die. I cannot handle being hungry. I get very hangry. And once I get past that, it's now borderline about to die, pass out. So I was at that point. I knew I was almost done. Barely could stand in line for my smoothie that I was just trying to suck down to get nutrients into me. And as I went to go grab my smoothie after paying, I turned and literally lights out. It reminds me of The Sims, for those who know what I'm talking about when they pass out. That's what I did. I face planted onto the ground with smoothie in hand, all over my boots. I had these furry boots that were like Native American, and I loved them. And they had smoothie all over them. I had all of my outfit. I was out for like 10 to 20 seconds. And then I came to and was just so embarrassed. And I never went to the mall again. And I'm living on a small island. I never went to the mall for almost a year. I bought everything online. I just had no reason to go to the mall. So this is a very cringy moment for me. And now it's funny to me. When I was 28, I realized you got to stop carrying this. I would feel the embarrassment. I would feel a twinge in my heart when I tell this story or when I think of like it, and I would just be like, oh my God, that was so horrible. Sometimes you can be carrying these type of emotions about situations that have happened and you don't even know like that you're carrying it, and then you throw it back into the pile. And when you don't deal with it, it starts to weigh on you. It starts to get really hard to get through. And then all of a sudden you're like possibly hitting rock bottom and wondering why you have all these emotions, all these things, because you have all these moments that you never dealt with. You never processed the emotions for them. So that's what I experienced earlier this year when I wrote this post, which was like January, I believe. I had realized in January when I decided I was going to start writing and start getting these emotions out that I was holding on to a lot of baggage. And that particular waning moon, which is funny because filming this now, we're in a waning moon season. So it's a full cycle. And now that I'm talking about this blog post and it's a waning moon, when I wrote the post, I didn't have, I did have so much more things that was bothering me still, and memories that I would think of and just be like, ugh, like, or you feel hurt or you feel embarrassed or whatever. But those feelings would come up, and I always, I don't know who, if anybody else experiences this, but I always get this twinge in my heart when I think of something, a memory that's bothering me. And I always could feel it every time I thought about it. It just twinge in my heart. And I think that little alert system, I want to say, that we have is a way for our feelings to say you need to reflect on and think about if it's worth worrying about anymore. Is it that important, or can it be discarded? And so once you have a certain emotion just take over your life, it can be debilitating. You can get to that point if you allow it. So by joy fighting back and taking over and allowing joy to take it back over, and that's what you want to experience, you start to attract that more, and you start to lose those memories, and they go in the back of your mind. That's why it's important for affirmations, and that's why it's important to keep a positive mindset, and to only not lose accountability for the things that you're doing, but to know that at the end of the day, you're striving for happiness or abundance. Those are the things that you're striving for, and you're not allowing the negativity to hold you back from that. So the waning moon is a very, well, the cycles, the phases of the moon, right, are some powerful rituals, powerful practices that we can do to keep ourselves in that positive mindset. And by keeping that positive mindset, each phase brings its own energy, and I utilize that energy to ground myself. So, aligning with the moon's phases is a grounding practice for me. And being aware of each cycle allows you to maintain that positive mindset. I often spend time journaling and asking myself these questions to reflect on how I'm feeling. And of course, the point is that the waning moon is a time, a period of reflection and letting go. So when we reflect, if it's something that we've done and we're reflecting on a past mistake, or like I said, a past embarrassment, something that we've done, you reflect on it, you forgive yourself, and you move forward. If someone has done something to you and you reflect on it and it causes you pain and you feel the emotions of what you felt like at that moment, you forgive them and you move forward. Forgiving others is not easy. And especially as a Sagittarius, we hold grudges. And I'm going to tell you, I have so much Sagittarius in my chart, it's crazy. So I especially take offense to people who do something to bother me or hurt me on purpose. I try to have the benefit of the doubt. I try to look at the good in everyone. But there's just some people who it doesn't matter what you do, they're going to use and abuse. And as an empath, I've experienced a lot of those people in my life. So I think with forgiving others, you have to change your perspective on what it means to forgive, because you're not forgiving to excuse them and shift accountability. You're forgiving them so that you have peace of mind and you're no longer bringing up the cycle every time about this person. Because when you do that, when you have someone living in your mind rent free, you're giving your energy to them. And energy is everything. You have to protect your energy. So the more you rotate in your mind and you wonder why they're doing this to you, and you're trying to think of ways to make it right, and nothing you do is making it right, it's time to forgive yourself for what you've done, to forgive the person for what they've done, and to allow yourself to move forward, to let it go, release it. A good ritual to do that is saying a prayer. That is a spell in its own self. And you can speak protection over yourself and just give it to God, give it to source, give it to the universe, and say, I no longer want to deal with this anymore. Another way is to journal and ask yourself these questions. What am I holding on to? And what do I need to release to feel lighter? This helps you find clarity and a deeper connection. What's going on internally? So the next topic is letting go. Previous topic was waning moon. Now we're going to talk about letting go. And letting go is very daunting. It's very daunting. It's so, when you're attached to something and it's familiar and it's comfortable, the idea that you have to let it go and release it in order to possibly grow is a hard decision. And it's a reason why so many people don't choose it. Not a lot of people are trying to grow in this world. If it's hard, if you've been through a lot, it's hard to choose letting go of something that's familiar to you, that's very comfortable to you. I have struggled with this myself, releasing old beliefs, releasing relationships, releasing past mistakes, or even releasing habits that I was doing that was not serving me at all. It's not about losing something, it's about making space to be creative, to grow something in that space. So you have to release and let go of things so that you can make space to grow and to learn and to cultivate peace. It's funny because they say Sagittarius are control freaks. Not as much as Virgo, but up there. And I think it's because we want to have control of our environment. And so letting go does not come natural. Like being offended and trying to let it go, being disrespected and trying to let it go is very hard for us. We are ready to start fighting at that point when it's disrespect, it's been addressed and it's still happening. So I've struggled. It's been a struggle trying to let things slide and see the perspective of, or what I like to call the bird's eye perspective, and just seeing where this person gets the audacity from and knowing that that's what's controlling them. That's not part of their personality. There's reasons behind why people do the things that they do. So I think that I started small and I just made small little changes. And like I said, it really started inward. I tried to release a lot of things that I was remembering and holding on to and thinking about myself. And I started forgiving myself for a lot of things I did in survival mode. And I noticed that I was getting lighter. It was getting lighter, easier each cycle. And then I've had some people I needed to forgive. I had some people. I know I went through the whole childhood trauma, even though I've had a pleasant childhood. I still experienced a little bit of that. And before having my kid, or right after having my kids, I had conversations with my parents to say, this is what I expect with these kids, and I hope you can respect that. And it was tough, but we came to an agreement, and our relationship has definitely gotten better. Because as a kid, as a teenager, I was a very moody, angry teenager, and we didn't have a great relationship. I was out the house by 17, so I was ready to go, and it took a while to cultivate that relationship and understand their perspective as parents and what they went through. That there's a lot of generational trauma that is passed down, and we have to understand where the older generations came from. They did not get treated properly as children, and they were not cultivated and educated on not what to do, but on how to raise a child like the proper way, the psychologically advanced way, I guess. Feelings and emotions were told to be detached from, and it's a big problem. You need to have emotional intelligence. How does that tie into letting go? I don't know. I done fell off the wagon. So, with letting go, one thing that helped me was starting small. I would write down things that I no longer wanted to think about or emotions that I had, and I would burn the paper. Light a white candle, light a white or black candle, and I would burn the paper in a little cauldron, something safe that's not going to melt. And I would pray over it. And that really did help me release a lot of I want to say, at that time when I was doing these things, I had a lot to release. So it took a few cycles of the waning moon to help release a lot of that baggage. I want to say this is the first waning moon that I feel completely okay with everything, I guess. I don't really feel like I need to release anything this cycle. I feel like I'm just chilling. This act of writing it down and burning it is showing that your intentions are to release whatever is on your mind. And like I said, it might not happen the first time, but if you keep practicing it, you're going to feel lighter. I also want to say that God or the universe or the source is what I like to say too, listens when you choose to speak to them. When you choose to speak to God, to speak to source, to speak to the universe, they listen. So let's talk about forgiveness. Forgiveness is a practice that's intertwined with letting go. Whether it's forgiving someone or forgiving yourself, holding on to resentment is a very heavy weight. It's heavy in a silent way. And you'll find that it's very easy to carry at first. And next, it's a 50-pound weight on your back. And so, with forgiveness and with the waning moon, the moon shines light on the things that we need to illuminate in our life so that we can reflect and let go. With the waning moon and just the moon cycles and forgiveness, very important to do guided meditations if you're finding that you can't even quiet your mind enough to be able to reflect inward. Guided meditations just help you practice to quiet your mind so you can hear each thought. Slow down your thoughts. You're listening more intently to what is being said. And then I find that once you start learning to quiet your mind, you then learn about the third person. Now, I want to talk about that more on another post. So now that the waning moon is here, I am just content and peace. And when you start to do these practices, these rituals during this cycle, during the waning moon, you're going to find that you bring peace to yourself. You're going to find that the more you reflect, the more you check on your inner self and listen to what is being said, you're going to find peace. And I don't know about you, but peace to me is so much more worthy. It's up there with time. Peace and time. Those are the two most important things in this world. Not money, not materialistic things, spiritual abundance. And spiritual abundance is having peace and having time to do what you want to do. So don't let no one else tell you otherwise. But I find that when you release that emotional weight and it's all gone, you just really get to that point where you're content throughout the cycle, static noise is gone. You're just really quiet in your mind. And it can get a little overwhelming to people who like to be around people all the time. That could be the scariest thing. But it's so quiet to the point, miss the back and forth used to do. But it took me a little bit, and I'm starting to feel very comfortable within this piece. I'm choosing the things I give my energy and time to. And most of the time, I'm choosing myself, what I want to do. And I'm not really worrying about what anybody else wants. So, because I didn't do all this work, I didn't do all this personal growth to be worried about what anybody else wants to do. I am going to be respectful, but I'll talk to you later. Right now, I am working on my blog. Right now, I am watching my favorite show. You just have to, you don't have to get to that point, but pretty much what I'm trying to say is that by releasing this stuff, by releasing this emotional guilt that a lot of people put on you, I am no longer conflicted with myself. I'm no longer resenting myself by going back and forth with myself about why did you do this? Now you don't have time for this. You don't have time for the things you wanted to do or the show you want to watch. And you feel obligated to be there for others. And that's also part of people pleasing, something that I also had to work on. So not everyone experiences that, but that's where I'm at in this waning moon. Right now, I am just at peace and I'm not going back and forth with myself. Like I said, it's like white noise now. It's very quiet in my mind. And I've been allowing myself to get back to the things that I love doing. So, the go to rituals during the waning moon. For my empaths, make sure you have some crystals. I always love to have a rose quartz nearby. And a clear crystal quartz is also great to have. Maybe some black tourmaline so that you're creating a protection in your home and in your space. Definitely pick up a pen and start writing. Get those thoughts onto a paper. Well, when you start writing, it allows you, or journaling, it allows you to reflect on emotions that you probably didn't even know you were bothered by, like, or situations that you probably didn't realize you were bothered by. And in a way, when you do this on a ritual basis, it allows you to get it out of your system. Like I said, you can always look back and reflect on it, but your intention is to get it out of your mind. Oh, and then guided meditations just help you get through. It helps create those writing prompts for yourself. So, what comes up as you're doing these guided meditations? And they don't have to be anything crazy. Look on YouTube, there's plenty of guided meditations. I'm looking to possibly put out some guided meditations for each moon cycle. So if you like that idea, then please comment below and let me know. But I think it can just be a simple 10, 15-minute guided meditation. You can find them on YouTube. And it is, once you start doing it, it's just going to become natural. You're going to just do it for 15 minutes out of the day. You can do it before bed. You can do it in the morning. You can do it in the shower. So many things you can choose. It just depends on what you want to put your attention to. And it's important, but if you don't think it is, then you're not going to do it. By doing these rituals, you're going to align with that energy of the moon cycle. And when you start aligning, you're going to find that you're going to handle these cycles that we're living in way easier. You're going to almost know what's coming up and how to prepare yourself. I've learned to trust that this process, guided by the waning moon, it leads you to healing and renewal. So this is why people say do these guided meditations, do these rituals, reflect, ask yourself, talk to yourself. They want us to think it's crazy, but only you know what you want. And some people can handle talking inward and like inner thoughts. And my mind's too chaotic, so I have to talk out loud. I've always talked out loud to process what I'm thinking. So it's very important that you look inward and see how you're feeling and start working on healing. Healing is constant. But if you're not healing and you're not growing, whoo, child, that is scary. So the key is to make this practice your own and adapt it to how it works for you. The waning moon is a powerful reminder that we don't have to carry everything with us forever. We can release, forgive, and make room for peace in our lives. Thank you for being here, Moon Fam. I hope these reflections resonate with you. And I hope it inspires you to embrace the moon cycles and just the waning moon's wisdom. So to me, the waning moon is probably one of the best cycles. So remember to leave a comment if this resonated with you. And if you want to join the journey, please subscribe and like this video if you haven't already. For more thoughts and reflections, please visit me at cozymoonchild.blog, sending love and light your way and a little bit of moon magic. I'll see you in the next video.